Hey folks, welcome back to Freepcast. My name is Rob Murray, here as always with Free Press Managing Editor Joe Spear. Joe, I've been gone for a while, so
lots of stuff happening.
What happened in the last week?
You're missing. We're catching you up. But big story today, as you pointed out, they had a big meeting on the Good Counsel redevelopment, which is going to be a remarkable redevelopment, very unusual, historic redevelopment for, I think, 90 acres of the Good Counsel campus. As people remember, the nuns moved out and they're in a home in Shakopee, and they want to do something with. Everybody knows Loyola's still got their piece of it. They're going to keep their piece of it up there. But a lot of this other stuff, including this beautiful historic chapel with stained glass windows and some of the housing and some of the buildings, are going to be transformed into this thing that they're starting to just specifically kind of lay out now with, they know there's going to be some affordable housing up there. There's going to be some common parkland that everybody can enjoy still. A lot of other things are kind of being worked out. It sounds like there's going to be some room for office space and maybe nonprofits. They're going to keep the community garden and a number of other things that are just historic about that piece of land. It's quite the development, and it'll be fun to watch. One thing they did say, and the Southwest Housing Partnership is purchased the land, and they're going to do the redevelopment. Although it's important to note in the article, I think, that there's still a lot of details to be filled out before it goes through. So it's possible something could happen, but it looks a lot more positive than anything has so far. So exciting development. What I think is cool is the developers say they're going to try to develop it in a way that preserves the school sisters' values, environmental values, housing values, those things. They, of course, were nuns who were very charitable in many causes, many causes. So it's really going to be cool over the next couple of years to watch that develop. And I think it'll be another one of those things that Mankato can point to that'll be really a unique thing we've done with our reusing our land and beautiful property. Have you ever been up there?
I've been up there many times, yeah. And this was the second time there's been a proposal to try and do something with that
Right.
land. And the first time, if folks probably do remember, a little bit of backlash about the what's it called, the teen challenge?
Adult and Teen Challenge group, which is I believe it's a nationwide group, statewide for sure, but they do a lot of work, Christian-based recovery programs, drug addiction, and other things. And so that was going to be one piece of Mike Drummer's total redevelopment plan. And they saw the backlash, and Adult and Teen Challenge kind of said, okay, not now, not this time. And Mike really needed that piece to make the whole thing work. So that's the history of that, as you were alluding to.
That was Plan A, I guess, and now Plan B seems to be a little bit more palatable for folks.
Yeah, they had how many people did they have there?
80 people,
80
I think.
people. And so a lot of just, I think, asking questions and what are the specifics. And again, I think they got into some of the specifics, but, like the principal things. They're not going to do anything with the chapel. Everything, that's good. I love to see that. It's a beautiful chapel. And then some of the parkland and the community gardens. And it'd be cool to see how they can develop housing. They've got still where the sisters used to live. It's kind of a dorm-like building. Have you ever been in there?
Not in that building, though.
No, I haven't either. But then some other buildings along up there, and I think one of the nuns, who I forget her name, does the woodworking, is still going to have her shop up there. So it's really cool development. And the surprising thing I guess I saw from the article today, or maybe not so surprising, is no one's saying for sure, done deal, all beautiful things are going to happen. It's likely, I think. But as we know, our country's economy is changing a lot because of the new administration. Interest rates are not going down. They might go up. Who knows how that would affect something like this, or if housing tax credits might go away. You didn't really hear about any of the risks there, but I'm sure they are there.
Yeah, and if you didn't have a chance to take a look at this piece in the paper, it's a great piece by Mark Fishnick, Ken, and also some great photos by Casey. And the photos give you perspective on how many people showed up for this, and I think that tells the story a little bit about the interest.
Yeah, great community interest. Whenever you get 80 people to show up for anything.
For anything, yeah.
It's pretty big. So that'll be an interesting thing to follow.
Before we go too much further, Joe, we should mention the sponsor for this podcast.
Our sponsor is
go ahead.
Minnesota Valley Federal Credit Union, folks. If you're getting anything out of this podcast, thank them and visit them. Other developments in town, there were some. Tim Crone did a kind of a business roundup. A new Native American store is in the mall. Nuka Yakta opens, and then Old Brick House is expanding. That's the used to be 7 Tap on Madison Avenue there, and the same company just decided apparently 7 Tap didn't work, but they made it into an Old Brick House, which is English food, drink. Have you ever been there?
I have been.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
A lot of variety.
Food's good. Good Guinness on tap.
Don't they have like 50 versions of bourbon? It's a crazy amount of stuff, and they're expanding. I think it was almost like 50% to the east, so they're doing well and need a bigger spot. Whenever I go in there, it's pretty packed. So interesting to see that, and it's not surprising the Birchwood Cottages in North Mankato, assisted living, memory care is expanding as well. There's just a huge demand.
This is the one right on top of the hill when you go up. Is it Luray?
Lee Boulevard.
Lee Boulevard.
And
top of the hill there.
Luray.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a nice looking place. It has the gazebos and stuff like that.
And that's the place where that barn used to be, right?
Yes. And there was some controversy about getting that piece of land. Some people wanted to keep it parkland.
Yes.
And but now they're expanding, and just a huge need for that stuff. So
yeah, for sure.
We talked a little bit about it last time. I don't know if we really got into it. There were a couple more organized town hall meetings from local groups inviting Representative Finstad to come, and he didn't show up. He was at a meeting of GMG and business leaders last week, I believe, in the Hyde Bailey building. There was some folks posted that he was meeting with them, and our editorial, of course, on Sunday took him to task for not having town hall meetings, and he should be having them. Post Bulletin agrees with us. He should be having them. A lot of Republicans in other districts are having them and just taking the heat. The guy in Atlanta, Republican, had a big meeting, and he just stood there for 2 hours and tried to answer people's questions, and people got mad, and some people shouted, and they said, "There's no place for shouting here. If you want to hear, I've got what I've got to say." I mean, it's not that hard, I don't think.
It's part of the job. If you're going to be a piece of the the American democracy here, if you want to be represent your constituents, you need to be able to stand in a room and hear what they have to say.
And a lot of people make the point face-to-face is better than conference call, or because Finstad apparently invited people to be on a virtual conference call and supposedly had 3,000 people on it. Well, it's not quite the same thing, and people said they weren't aware of it. They didn't know how they could get on it. So, it'd be good to get some face-to-face talking with Representative Finstad. He's been there since 2019, 2022.
He's in his second term.
Yeah. And as we pointed out in our article a week ago, his predecessor, Jim Hagedorn, had a lot of town hall meetings. Angie Craig, next door congresswoman in LeSueur County, she has 71 events since she's been elected in 2022.
I did hear one Republican congresswoman say that why would we have these events when we're just going to get ambushed? And I think that kind of comment misses the point of what your job is. Your job is to listen to your constituents, take their comments into
Right.
consideration, and vote accordingly. Not showing up because you don't want to have people expressing their opinion about what's going on is, what are we doing here?
Yeah. And the advice from the Speaker of the U.S. House, Mike Johnson, was don't do it because they just want to get TV shots or whatever. I guess, but I agree with you. It's part of the job. And just do it and show up and try to be polite. And everybody's got a point of view. And we did run lengthy. You probably didn't see it because you were in Boston, but Post Bulletin finally did get an interview with Finstad. And we reran it a day or two after. It was 120 inches. So it was a Q&A. And I think we put the whole thing online because we ran out of space in the print edition. But he did answer a number of questions. Matthew Stoley, a good reporter from Rochester, longtime political reporter, had a lot of good questions for him. And if you haven't seen that, it's worth going to look for it. We did put it online on our website, so you should be able to Google it and come up with it.
I did see that. I didn't read it, but I did see it, and I did see the big editorial we ran from the New York Times. Was that in
Today?
That was in Today.
Yes.
Extraordinary.
Yeah, it was a great editorial about the threats to the court system and the powerful executive Trump administration is doing everything they can to fight the court system and to delegitimize it. And the New York Times had I think it was a 1,300-word editorial, but it very specifically laid out every instance of where the threats are and why they're important and what you can do about them. So I didn't want to. It wouldn't have fit in our regular editorial spot. So I just said, run it across the top. It's in 6 columns, and it's all there. So 1,300 words.
I think for regular readers, there was probably a striking change. And when you see that kind of a change just a change to the foundation of what that page looks like every day, I think it stops you and you say to yourself, oh, this must be really important if they've completely changed the way this page almost always looks.
Yes, that's the point of it. And we do that every once in a while when we have something that long and that good. I'm finding, there's a lot of good. We have access to New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Washington Post editorials. Not all their content, but they're often very good and very detailed. And they have, national reporters who have access to all these people. So they often can put together a very detailed and good editorial versus us trying to write one from out in the hinterlands or whatever, but they're often very good, and so we're trying to share those with the readers, I think, a lot more than we have in the past. So
well, I think there's a place for both. I mean, there's a place for what we in Middle America have to think about those issues too, so I think it's nice to get both. I
agree with you, absolutely. And there was another town hall this weekend that we covered, but it was local legislators, Nick Frentz and Luke Frederick, our Senator Nick Frentz and Representative Luke Frederick representing Mankato, and they had 200 people show up. So I think there's a need, whoever you are, elected official, to go talk to people, no matter what side you're on. They're not in the crosshairs. The Democrats aren't. This is Frederick and Frentz are Democrats, but they still had a lot of people showing up asking questions. And not all softball questions either. I mean, there were some good things about, there was some, I forget what it was, a solar plan being rolled back a little bit, and Nick had an answer for that. And so I think it really does people good just to see their representatives face to face, know they're trying to talk to them, are knowledgeable people, and you can kind of find out, hey, I trust them. They're trying to do the best they can. They're reasonable. So there's something to be said for that in enhancing our democracy, I think.
I think there's something going on right now. I don't think 6 months ago you would get 200 people at any kind of a meeting like that.
Agree with you.
Or 80 people at the thing about Good Counsel. I think there's some kind of energy happening right now that wasn't there before, where people are like, all right, I need to find out for myself what's going on, have my voice be heard.
There's something happening here. Buffalo Springfield from the 60s. Good song, if you ever look it up.
What it is ain't exactly clear.
Yes. There's a man with a gun over there.
Oh, no, not here. Not in this town.
Yeah, we're trying to follow some of these, how federal cuts will affect local folks. And there's a lot of uncertainty now. We did a story on how the Department of Education closing might affect schools, MSU. Everybody's just so uncertain about it right now. And it's hard to say because one day you hear this is cut, next day you hear it's not. Or it's pulled back, or the court said no. So if you have ideas about you're seeing people affected by these cuts, please give us a call. Email us. editor@mankatofreepress.com is always a good email just to get the word out. Or call us and let us know that, hey, we're hearing that these people are affected by that. That would help us in our reporting. Interesting Ask Us this weekend. Ask Us guy Mark Fishnick was asked why there's not more information out about gun incident at East High School last fall, I think it was. Yeah. And diligent reader follows up, said our last story said, police will be discussing security plans with the school. And so it was a good question by the reader, actually. Hey, what's the latest on that? And Mark gave a very detailed answer, as he always does. First important thing about that case is it's a juvenile case, so there is very little public information available on a juvenile case. Police write the report. Juvenile, can't see the report, right? You've covered cops a long time.
I don't think you can ever see the police report on a juvenile. You can see the court complaint if it's a 16-year-old charged with a felony.
Charged with a felony, a serious crime.
Yeah.
And this having possession of a gun is probably not a felony then, right? Or they're not charging it that way.
I don't think it would be a felony.
Yeah, I don't think it would be either.
And if he's 13, we wouldn't never find out.
Yeah. So, part of it was that he did talk to the school superintendent, Paul Peterson, and he did give a few more details about, how it happened, what the process was. Why don't they have metal detectors? Is there a plan for metal detectors? No and no. They have a security process where you go through an office, and this gun was not. What do they say? There was no apparent flashing of the gun anywhere. I don't know if I'm trying to remember if they had just gotten a tip or somebody said they thought someone talked about it. Anyway, they had a school officer right there, so they were able to quickly deal with the case. And I think that's about all we can say. They did say they discussed metal detectors, I think, and it wasn't the right way to go right now. And I'm not sure there's metal detectors in any of our schools, is there?
I don't think so, not that I know of.
You just have a security procedure that I guess if you're really out to make sure you get a gun through the schools, what are the chances you could do it? Probably small.
Walk into a school with, like walk into West High School today with a gun?
With a gun in your backpack. You
probably could do it. They're not checking bags.
Yeah.
Nor should they. It's one of those things where it happens one time. Does that mean we have to do a sweeping change of how we do things that will change everybody's life?
Something to think about. I feel like I wish I had that article in front of me because I thought there were a few more details that are kind of escaping me right now. But if you have a chance to read Ask Us from last Sunday about the East gun incident, it's worthwhile to do that. Go online, look it up. Want to mention just again once our sponsor. This podcast sponsored by Minnesota Valley Federal Credit Union, happily serving those who live, work, or do business in Blue Earth, Nicollet, Le Sueur, Waseca, Brown, or Watonwan counties since 1934. Sports.
We should mention you almost always hear us talk MSU hockey in this podcast, and we're recording the podcast today
Right.
an hour before the game starts. So by the time you hear it, it'll be long over. We're just going to say good luck to the boys.
I want to just mention a couple things in our article. The team we're playing, Western Michigan, is like number 3 in the country, number 3 in the country. We're number 14. They have the highest in Division I goals per game, 4 goals.
I saw that.
We have the lowest allowed goals per game in the country, 1.4. So that could be interesting. But Coach Strand was, saying that the Western Michigan team can be big and physical, and they can be fast. So I think they're going to be a daunting challenge. But like I say, by the time you listen to this, you will know how daunting it was or not.
And if they
Good luck to them.
If they win that game, they would play in a couple of days against
either the Gophers or UMass. Now, wouldn't that be an interesting Gopher MSU game for the going to the Frozen Four?
Yes.
Oh man,
it would be fantastic.
Fargo would be flooded with maroon and gold and purple and gold, I think.
Mm-hmm. Maverick fans have been pretty good about traveling in those playoff tournaments.
I think so. We got to mention the valiant efforts of the Waseca and East boys basketball teams.
Oh, yeah.
Both just missed, state titles, lost in the final game. Hard-fought games. Waseca was unbeaten until the last game.
It's a heartbreaker.
Yeah. And East had 1 loss. But great effort, great finish for both of those teams, and something the area can be pretty proud of.
Absolutely.
Other than that, I don't have a lot to say. I do have quote of the week, if we can get to that and finish up.
Absolutely.
So we did a story on this MSU soccer team. It's just an intramural soccer team. A bunch of people got together and say, hey, let's play soccer. Got a few months to do it in the dome up there. Nice and warm, but they're from all different countries. International. Didn't know each other really before they formed this team, but they love soccer. And we interviewed them and asked them about why they're doing this. And here's the quote. This is from Emil Steenhoek of the Netherlands. I love to play with international people from all around the world. We have players from South Korea, the Netherlands, France, Palestine, and the manager is Swedish. Even if you don't speak other languages, soccer is a global sport. You can understand everyone, even if you don't know their language.
All right.
Cool.
Well said. Mr. What's his name?
Emil Steenhoek.
Okay. All right.
I probably messed that up.
Well said, sir.
But I think that's about all we have for now.
All righty. Once again, the sponsor of this podcast is Minnesota Valley Federal Credit Union. And I think that's all we have to say. Thanks to Casey Eck, the man behind the camera. And thanks to Goodnay Goldust, who wrote and performed the music you hear at the beginning of the audio podcast.
And don't forget to subscribe to our great journalism.
Subscribe.
Reader service at MankatoFreepress.com, 625-3764. Order reprints with SPX Sports or from our website, 345-7196 to SPX. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, folks.